Love podcasts, hate nonsense. The PoliticsJOE podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Dudes rock.
Back.
We are so back. Aye-oh. Fuck your notes.
Oh, no notes again today.
Is Laura? Yeah, she's smiling.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to take that. That's
Sobbing,
the thing to do. I did not
What's
think
the first topic is?
I did not think about the repercussions of that. Okay, let's piece these back together. I did this with a train ticket once, absent-mindedly.
Why?
I was just on a train from, when I was at school, I was on a train from Glasgow to where I live, Glasgow Central to where I live, and just suddenly noticed I'd ripped my train ticket into like 16 pieces. And then the ticket inspector came, and I was like, I don't know why I did this. And he was looking at it, he was like, well, it is valid. Which is a good, I feel like a lot of ticket inspectors would not be as liberal as that.
Absolutely not. Used to hate ticket inspectors.
Yeah, bastards.
My best mate.
ACAB includes them.
My best mate got the train to school.
Yep.
And I got the bus to school. And being a, adolescent, I didn't have the money for a train ticket. Mm-hmm. So if you were going back to your mate's house on a Friday after school, you would have to do so by methods of subterfuge. Mm-hmm. The most effective of which was climbing into like the luggage rack like a bean and everyone then surrounding you with their bags.
Oh, that's quite sick.
So you literally like fucking Midnight Express, like crossing the last train out of Munich before the fucking brown shirts turn up.
Topical.
And it was quite an illicit thrill.
I bet.
Seeing his dry lunch shoes stood in front of the luggage rack and me being within it.
It's like, did your parents ever let you go in the boot of the car as they drove? Were you regularly requesting? Yeah, it was fun. It's one of these things where children just don't understand danger. It's like you want to stand on the frozen pond.
Yeah.
You want to stand on it. Or like one of my grandmothers had a soft top car and you wanted to stand up with the roof down as she drove. And she'd let you sometimes.
Yeah, after one of my mates' birthday parties, I think fucking Tenpin bowling or something, we were all going back to his house. And they didn't have enough space in their like family saloon car for the 6 children that were at the party. So I went in the boot. And my mate's dad thought it'd be funny to like go round a roundabout 5 times at like 40 miles an hour.
It's that kind of thing. Like, would you not be quite annoyed if you were your parents?
Well, yeah, but they never knew.
No. But if they were to find out,
I'm no grass.
You're no grass. But I don't know.
Yeah, obviously, they would be bothered about that. But it's also quite funny.
It's quite funny.
I guess as a parent, you're constantly towing the line between being like the banter, fun parent to your.
He gave you a beer as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I was fucking out of my head on smack in the boot. You want to be the parent that your child's mates all think is super cool and like daring, but you have to go up. If you can't cross the line at the point at which they tell their own parents, because then you're like being reported to child services.
Who was like the coolest parent at school?
It was my best mate's dad.
What did he do?
He just had a really good moustache.
Right. And that was it.
He used to be a punk, so he was quite cool, and he would buy us crates of beer and take us to house parties and pick us up at like 3 a.m.
Oh, yeah, that is good. There's one guy, when I was like 16 or 17, I went round to some guy's house, and the dad was there. He's like, "We don't mind if you smoke weed."
You were like, "What's weed?"
What's that? I was like, but we were all like, that's pretty cringe of you. He'd gone too far the other side and be like, "I don't think you should have that relationship with us, actually."
My best mate, the son of this man, very recently revealed to me that it was actually quite psychologically difficult for him as a 16-year-old because he came to the realization that a lot of his mates wanted to come round to his house so that they could hang out with his dad and not with him.
Yeah.
as a bit of a process, which is funny. Are we gonna fully? Well, no, we should.
What do you want to talk about?
We should do some. I think we should do some politics.
Well, some of us have already done it on our LBC shows this weekend.
Amen.
Topics.
Yeah.
Combined between us.
If you want a better experience,
it's been well covered.
If you want a better experience, you can just go on Global Player, listen to my show on Catch Up, and it's just me, not interrupted by Ed.
No.
So
be like less.
If that's something you might be into.
So if you like this but more boring. If you don't mind when Ollie slips into LBC mode on this, you'll love Ollie's LBC show.
But we did talk about this, yeah, because it's fucking jokes.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, your man Nigel, 1.2 million bish a year.
That's so much money.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's more. He makes more in a month from doing GB News than his MP's salary for an entire year. They pay him handsomely. And I think that might explain why, since polling day, he's appeared on GB News 9 times and yet has only spoken in the House of Commons once.
Different priorities.
Yes. I guess in a way you could say, what were you expecting when you elected him as your MP? He put, there's a really funny entry on in the Register of Interests when he's writing the justification next to the £32,000 that one of his aides paid for his trip to America after Trump's assassination attempt. And the justification was visiting a friend after they were nearly killed and representing the people of Clacton on the world stage.
That's the thing is, when he was at the RNC, he was like, you would not shut up about Clacton. That's all anyone was talking about was, we love Nigel, we love Clacton, we love the pier.
Do you think he even saw Trump?
No. Oh no, did he have a photo posted of him?
Not that I've seen. I will stand corrected if it's out there.
But I think
he was just there to like catch the media attention.
Do you think they're mates?
I think in much the same way undergraduate, A-level and doctoral essays have been written about whether or not the special relationship actually exists. I feel like the dynamic between Trump and Nigel Farage is relatively similar in that the British half of the relationship believes there to be a special relationship.
I have the ear of the president.
The American half of the relationship thinks it's quite charming, but at the end of the day is non-existent.
I heard that when Trump's getting elected, they're actually they're going to move the embassy to Clacton.
It's the equivalent of relocating it to Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Southeast England is in turmoil. He's declared Clacton the official capital of the southeast of England.
The contested territory of Clacton. It's contested between the sea and the land.
Yes.
Or they're going to move like big oil headquarters to Clacton.
Nice.
Londonised Clacton.
Do we think MPs should have second jobs?
Not should. They needn't. But if
but as in, should you ban them? Is what the should is like?
I think is it an as and when? If it's something that is ethically dubious or morally conflicting,
yeah,
like you shouldn't be like on the board of an arms factory. I think that might be something you shouldn't do. But like,
does being an MP, is that the important? Should you just not be on the board of an arms factory? Full stop.
Yeah, probably.
You should not be a warlord and an MP.
Yes,
the two things are conflicting.
The two
Conflict
jobs.
of
You
interest.
shouldn't actually have a cult.
Nope.
You shouldn't do that.
Nope.
You shouldn't be a drug dealer.
No. People trafficking.
No.
I don't think you should do that and be an MP.
You shouldn't be a climate criminal.
Mass poppy agriculture.
No.
Don't do that and be an MP.
No. There's a gap in the market though.
Producing literature on the manufacture of explosives. Don't do that and be an MP.
See, that depends on whether it's an instruction manual or like a history. So that's why it's as and when.
If in the history you provided the recipes. This is the old recipe.
Okay. And
Don't do it now.
This is my new and improved.
Yeah.
What if you redacted like the quantities and just had the ingredients?
Feels even more dangerous.
Yeah. What's like something you could do, like a good thing?
Being a nurse.
Yeah, you could be a nurse or a doctor or something.
So there are certain professions that
But then
require...
is your loyalty to the hospital or to the House of Commons?
No, my loyalty is to the Middlesex NHS board. The enemy within!
Is your loyalty the big vaccine?
No, I think... Look, there are professions, right, where if you don't practice, you lose your qualification.
Yeah.
You should obviously, like, you know, if you're a doctor and you become an MP and you have to do 10 shifts a year in order to keep your fitness to practice, I'm okay with that. That's fine. So I think probably technically the same if it's a lawyer or any other profession where something like that exists. But other than that, I can't see any justification for it. Like, genuinely, I can't. I think pay the MPs more, so there is no financial incentive.
That's the thing people say is when you compare an MP salary, obviously it's like a ton of money, but compared to what some of these people could earn in the private sector.
Yeah. And the argument goes you're not attracting the best and most talented people because they would rather go and make a shit ton of cash.
But then equally, conversely, there is the argument of are the best people those who seek to make a shit ton of cash in the city?
Exactly. And
serving on the boards of warlords, shell companies.
Yes. I think, very simply, I think you just halve the number of MPs and you pay them all twice as much. Yeah. We have more MPs, we have more members of our legislature than they do in the Indian system.
Holy shit. Oh my God. We are very well catered for.
Yes. Very well represented.
Yeah.
But famously, the UK does have a slightly smaller population than India.
Just learning.
Can we get a fact check on that?
Can we get a live fact check on the population of India?
What are our latest population figures?
70 mil?
Yeah.
India's bigger.
Interesting.
Thank you, Sean.
Can I hear it's larger?
Hold on 1 second.
Thank you.
Yeah, much bigger by land mass.
Interesting.
And so if they're just about managing with...
But that must be unwieldy. Imagine the casework that they have. Like millions and millions of pothole complaints.
We don't have clean drinking water. I guess you have to deal less with like
NIMBYism.
Mr. Tickell's dry stone wall has fallen into my back garden, because the issues are more pressing. Like we don't have a sanitation system.
Yeah.
You probably go, I'm going to leave your boundary dispute. That's like priority level 5.
The lamppost doesn't work.
The mass flooding is currently of higher issue.
It's a border skirmish.
Yeah. Yeah, I've currently got to figure out how we stop these Chinese blokes punching us on the border. Wait, is it India and China? Or is it India and there's one, I think it's India and China, isn't it?
Yeah,
where they've both agreed that they won't use firearms. So they just have sticks.
They just have a physical fight.
Yeah. There's that great video of that like brawl happening.
It is good.
It looks like it's in the mountains.
It's a shame we're an island, really.
Why?
So we could have more of them. Like fun ones, not like the Troubles.
They do kind of do it, yeah, over there.
What? Then
communicate with their fists.
Oh, but if you just had like Berwick isn't really Scotland or England. So we should have a physical
Do you think?
altercation.
It's beautiful there. I love when the I've never been. When the train goes through.
Oh.
It always, sometimes there are places where a train goes through it and you're like, fuck me, this looks lovely.
Yeah.
That's one of those places.
Yeah. I think I've got the train from Scotland to London so often that it's just all the magic disappeared for me.
It's burned off.
Train travel, actually, I'm sick of it, thanks to this job. I used to like getting the train. But now I do, it's dull.
Great train journey from London to Cornwall.
Yes. That's one of the best.
Beautiful.
That is good.
I quite liked into Perth and from Perth upwards in Scotland. It's very majestic, that. It's nice when you can see a mountain out the train.
Beautiful country.
One of the best.
I'd say so.
There you go. There's some mountains there. Why don't we get some fucking army boys up there?
And just role play.
Yeah. You don't have your own army. We have our
Yeah, we have regiments though.
Great point. Scots Guards.
Black Watch.
Black Watch would be good.
Yep.
Black Watch versus who should we send?
The Household Cavalry.
Would you get horses?
I know it would have to be like you get
dismounted.
Yeah, no. I think cavalry's fine to use horses because it's just different.
I don't think they use horses anymore, though. I think they have tanks. I think the nature of being a cavalryman has changed.
Maybe grenadiers then, or something.
Sticks only.
Sticks only.
Sticks and fists.
Hobby horses.
Yeah, nice. That's a level playing field then.
Yeah. Actually, no. Because if you have a stick and a hobby horse, you ultimately have 2 sticks.
Good point.
And I would love to think they would stay on the hobby horses, but we both know they would be holding them by the head.
Dual-wheeled. I think you have to choose hobby horse or stick.
And you're choosing stick. I think in that situation, we all know we're choosing stick.
I'd choose hobby horse.
Would you?
Yeah, it's more aesthetic.
Yeah, but probably...
If it's a nicely wooden carved head. Yeah, it's got weight on the end of it, hasn't it?
Oh, I was imagining like a soft toy head.
Well, that'd be useless.
No, that was my point.
Right.
Like
well, in those circumstances, I would choose stick.
But you make an excellent point about a wooden carved horse's head.
Because then it's like a mace.
Oh, and you get the the ones that have the wheel at the bottom.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was picturing.
Yeah. And there might be bells on it.
Could be. Maybe some leather reins.
You are fucking see when the gangs in this country learn about hobby horses. When this knife amnesty finally works, it's going to be clobbering time. Hobbering time.
What about if we gave them all electric scooters? And stick and scooter.
What about as a complimentary event? So you've got the hobby horse fight.
Yep.
You also have jousting on electric scooters with a long, blunt lance.
Does whether it's blunt or not make it like if you're riding an electric scooter up full beans into another person with a lance? Mm-hmm. I feel like whether it's sharp or not is kind of redundant.
No, I think it would. One would definitely kill you, and the other might not.
Yeah, I guess it depends how yeah. Because if it is literally into like a needle type point,
then
it will just fuck you up
wherever that hits you. Versus if it's blunt, it might just knock you off your scooter.
I feel like it's still going to cause internal bleeding.
Or not, like electric scooter.
They go fast, man.
Not like car speed.
Well, cars have a full range of speeds available to them, don't they? Like,
but like
a car can go at 10 miles an hour.
I'm thinking like a Lime scooter, not like like something you have central control over the speed of.
Okay. So should MPs have second jobs?
They can judge the hobby horse, most beautiful horse competition. Should they write books? I always think that for all the MPs that write books, there must be a fairly limited audience for them.
I think there's a fairly limited audience for people that write books, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
The whole I don't understand. I think the publishing industry is a cottage industry. Basically, I don't know how they make the economics of it work. Mm-hmm. But there's essentially like 3 people that actually sell books with mass appeal. They make all the money.
Yeah.
And then every single other person gets paid in advance.
They're
That
not
they never
big,
make
though.
back.
But the advances aren't that big for the amount of work that you do.
But like to get onto the Sunday Times best, I think you have to sell like 2,000 books.
Yeah.
Which
it's
isn't
not
a lot.
No.
But that's not great, is it?
No.
You cough and you do 2,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah, but
We should try that.
just one video of me coughing.
Ed Campbell coughing
Coughing for
on a loop, 12 hours. It's like he's in the room with you.
Study with me. Me just sniffing and closing a book.
Ed Campbell companionship video.
Which MP would you most like to write a book?
You're essentially asking me who I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, is it fiction or is it a memoir?
One fiction, one memoir. I've got one for you that I think is your actual answer.
I'm just going to be insulting.
It's not.
Memoir, I think, is Nigel.
Oh, interesting.
That's a second job I'll let him have.
What's your role as the arbiter of second jobs?
It's whether I like it or not.
Yeah, yeah.
And fiction, I quite liked. I think you'd get some interesting creative writing from the unhinged insights of any of the members of the DUP.
Yeah.
So, any of them. Any of them. No, wait, that TUV lad got in, didn't he?
Yes.
Him.
A heroic tale of the UVF.
Yeah.
One boy struggled
to kill as many Catholics as he could.
to rid Ireland of popery.
To rid Ireland of the papists. Oh yeah, I think that's what I'd go for.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think you would like a book written by Thorsten Bell.
That's insulting.
Is it? You've interviewed him a lot. I actually wasn't trying to dig you out.
But that's just like a fucking non-fiction book about politics. He's written a book about. I've read it.
Well, did you enjoy it?
Yes.
See, so I'm right. I'd like to read a Lee Anderson memoir. I think it'd be good. I think it'd be interesting.
Well, as he, over the course of 300 pages, he comes to terms with his cognitive dissonance. By the end, he realises he's essentially in it for himself once he's represented the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, and Reform.
Yep. You might be a Lib Dem next.
Lib Dem Anderson.
Did you see Keir Starmer got 16 grand of work clothes from ASOS?
Yes. Including
what on earth is that?
2.5 grand's worth of glasses.
What?
Yeah. I'd like to see you in a okay, it's multiple pairs. But
one beautiful
solid gold
diamond encrusted. The lens is made of diamond.
Like, what does an expensive pair of glasses look like, right? Because I know people, they just buy their glasses on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's like 20 quid a pair. Mm-hmm. And then, admittedly, I appreciate the more you spend on something, it will be nicer. But I think there's quite a limited ceiling on how nice a pair of glasses can look.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you in an expensive pair of glasses.
What do you mean?
Were they also gifted to you by a Labour donor?
I actually don't have to declare that.
Work clothing.
Yeah. 16 grand from ASOS.
Yeah, he was wearing a nice 500 quid Sandro hoodie during the election campaign.
Men in their 60s aren't ASOS's target audience.
No, but the guy is a Labour donor. It's clothing to make him look cool.
So it'd be like a stylist being like,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it's bomber jacket and polo.
Because, sorry, this is really, you brought up the Starmer stuff. Keir Starmer, as leader of the opposition, accepted more freebies than every single other Labour leader since 1997 put together.
Holy shit.
In the last Parliament, no MP had accepted more freebies than Keir Starmer from 2019 to 2024.
Well, they won the election, so maybe that was why.
So those investments are coming good. They're about to come good for a lot of people.
Massive tax breaks for ASOS.
Yeah, he loves accepting hospitality. Taylor Swift, Euros tickets.
Yeah.
I think certainly an FA Cup or a Community Shield game, Arsenal games. And the question becomes, with all of these things, why are people giving them to you for free?
Yep.
Well, is it from generosity? Is it the kindness of their heart?
It's interesting though, something like the FA isn't necessarily a nefarious actor.
No, but Please.
You do get MPs who accept football tickets or sports tickets from like gambling companies and stuff.
Yes. However, the FA has a vested interest. Like a lot of Labour's proposals relating to football, for example, creating the regulator, there are large parts that the FA wants to stop from happening. There is genuine... That's lobbying, to my mind.
It is lobbying, but it may not work.
I think it does work.
I don't know.
I think there's a reason why they do it.
Oh no, there definitely is. But there is a world where you say thank you for these free football tickets.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. Like,
yeah,
I actually don't really have a problem with accepting football tickets.
With lobbying.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, that's what it is.
Yes, and I'm using a specific circumstance. I didn't say in general I don't have a problem with lobbying, but I think something like...
Well, explain yourself.
Something like the FA, like, I mean, they're only paid £90,000 a year. I don't know, I just think that's not necessarily, like, that bad to be like, I'm a football fan, sick, a free football ticket. Versus oh my God, free cigarettes.
Yeah, but... What's the difference?
From big tobacco. I don't like big tobacco.
Yeah.
Is
so why would you have a problem with that?
Why would I?
Yeah.
Because of the big tobacco.
Bad guys.
Bad guys. Smoking's not good for you. I don't think you should.
So
be
basically,
smoking.
It's okay if your moral judgment about the person who's providing the hospitality is they're okay.
Yeah.
Well, clearly that's not a basis for whether or not MPs should be able to accept hospitality.
But as I said previously about jobs,
like the FA could be bad actors.
Yes, it could be, but it's not. They could be, yeah, but right now I don't think they are.
Right, and if they become bad actors,
well, they should stop accepting tickets from them.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Clearly it's not workable.
Why? Why is that not workable?
What do you mean it's not workable?
Because you could be done on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, so accepting that we live in a world in which we don't know the motivations, activities, or indeed thoughts, beliefs, and politics of many organisations, people, so we cannot know whether they're good or bad guys. How do we make our judgments about as and when?
I don't accept that premise. I don't think that how evil can the FA be?
They could be terrible.
But we know they're not.
They could destroy the English game.
The FA?
Yeah, they could do.
They're the... Do you think they are? Do you think that's...
No.
Yes. So what's going to change?
But what I think of what they're doing is irrelevant.
Yes, no, but so then at the point at which they suddenly become evil destroyers of English football, then if Keir Starmer continues to accept football tickets from them, that's probably bad. But at the moment, I don't think it's that bad.
Doesn't stack up. It doesn't. Like... Okay, let's make it more ambiguous.
Right.
Right.
Oh, good, because that'll be easier to talk about it.
If you take a company where, I don't know, let's say they are a food manufacturer.
Yes. Private company is different. That's why I said it's case by case.
But when you say private companies are different, that's not case by case. You're making a judgment that all private companies...
If they're in for profit, if they want to like undo regulations that improve the quality of food.
Yeah. Like introducing a regulator for football.
But they're not... Sorry, and you've been... A regulator... Sorry, the FA to promote English football...
Yep.
That is their goal.
Yep.
A food company or private company's goal is to create profit.
It's to feed the hungry.
It's to create profit for the shareholders.
No, it's to feed the hungry.
You must acknowledge the difference between a non-profit organisation and a private company.
Yes, there's a difference between those two things. But a non-profit organisation can still have aims and objectives that might run contrary to an elected government and wish to influence them.
Yes, absolutely. And you're well within that power to be thanks for the fucking free tickets and not be influenced by it. I fancy going to that game. How am I going to get a ticket for that?
But they might also not be like that.
Yeah.
Right. So let's eliminate
But-
let's
but
eliminate
then-
the possibility.
Let's eliminate the possibility. Okay.
No hospitality for you, Keir Starmer. You're paid very handsomely. Buy your own tickets. Buy your own tickets to Taylor Swift. Buy your own $2,500 worth of glasses.
I think I think the ASOS stuff is worse.
Do you?
Yes.
Yeah, because he's not got value for money there, has he?
I think that I don't actually think going to presumably a showpiece football event as leader of opposition and now prime minister is a bad thing.
Yeah, I guess we do want the Prime Minister there.
Like
Actually, do we want the Prime Minister
so
there?
if he hadn't been at the Euros final
There must be
because
something
of
better.
concerns
There
about
must be
lobbying from the FA. I'm concerned about the shadowy FA agenda. So I'm actually staying here.
He should
I'm
have.
concerned about the
No,
FA's
he-
agenda to eradicate grassroots football in this country.
He should
so
have-
that's why I'm not here.
He should have joined Lee Anderson on his cultural boycott picket line and declined to watch the woke English football team playing, obviously. No, I was going to say we should have the Prime Minister at these things. But actually, I don't know if we should.
Why?
We must have something better to be doing.
Oh yeah, presumably, but it's part of the theatre of being the leader of the country. It's part of being the
Yeah.
theatre of that showpiece event.
I think that's send a fucking royal.
Or like Prince William or
Yeah,
something.
give him
Oh no,
something
but
to
the
do.
thing is, he's the face of the evil FA.
Yes.
So you never know the shadowy figure pulling the strings.
Sorry, are you
of
here
Prince
in
William.
your capacity as puppet master of the FA, or are you here in your capacity as puppet master of the country?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
God, that's going to be difficult when the king of the country is being controlled by the shadowy forces seeking to destroy English football.
They'll be very pleased
They will be.
when he sits on the throne.
Yeah.
Forget they'll stop giving Keir Starmer free tickets because they've got their man, the fucking head of state. He presumably stops being the FA's man once he becomes the monarch.
I don't know. I feel like Charles still has some duties, but maybe he would. I don't know.
Do you feel like we've covered off second jobs in hospitality?
I can't wait till they find out about the fucking hideous agenda of the Football Association.
What about Operation Early Dawn? Can you still read that on your ripped up piece of paper?
It's just the information. The title
You got that bit.
got there. The information is unclear that I have.
They're running out of space in the prisons.
Holy shit.
And it makes you wonder why they released all those violent offenders just to fill it back up again with fucking racist idiots.
Is it grass is always greener? On the other side. It's like, oh no.
What do you mean?
Well, it's either like
you're in prison-
one group of people should be in prison and aren't.
Yeah. I think just quick aside, I think if you are in prison, the grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah, but for us, I suppose. For the
Well, the grass is
general
not greener
public.
in the prison, no.
No, but is it like which would you rather
Be in prison or be free?
two groups of people go to prison
Yeah.
for a crime,
Okay.
or
What ethnicity are they?
They're Vietnamese.
Okay.
Two groups of Vietnamese people.
I've made a rod for my own back with this.
No, it's we're in the veil of ignorance. Imagine
Okay.
we're there.
Guys like speaking to Laura.
Yeah, that's right. I did a philosophy module at university too. Two groups of people, violent offenders. Would you rather both have been to prison,
Yep.
even if one has had their sentence reduced or not served the entirety,
Yep.
or just one group stays for the entire sentence and the other is kind of left, gets a suspended sentence or a large fine?
All things being equal, I guess you want them both to go to prison for a little bit of time.
Yeah. And we can't build prisons that quickly. You could
build some prisons though. that is an option.
You could get, you remember the Nightingale hospitals?
Yes.
You could do that for prisons.
Yeah.
Just lock them up in like the Olympic Stadium.
What about like barges?
Barges.
Prison barges.
Do not try that with Baby Stockholm.
Those people hadn't committed crimes.
No, exactly, but as in like, but they kept him quite.
Yeah.
You could quite easily
we
repurpose the Baby Stockholm.
We reserve that treatment for foreigners.
Yeah.
Criminals, absolutely not. No, wouldn't treat them like that. Legionnaire's disease? No, God no. Suicide risk? No, God no. No. We reserve that for people that have a different skin tone to us.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can.
What about transportation?
To the Falkland Islands.
Yeah, like that fake Telegraph headline that Musk shared.
Which was what? Was that by the Falkland Islands?
Yeah. It was that
Oh.
we were going to ship the rioters to detainment camps on the Falkland Islands. And he was like, is this true?
Instead of being like,
Which is a great place to be, as the world's richest man.
wow,
Most followed person on Twitter.
made it himself.
Yeah.
Why would he care?
Great question.
Yeah.
Why is he...
Why is he taking such an interest in unrest in Britain? Because I know why. That's
So is it like fermenting civil unrest deliberately? No, I don't think so. I think he genuinely believes his heart to be in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
He believes civil war to be inevitable, and, and he's sort of like the last sane voice in the room, being like, "Civil war is inevitable."
That's what's it's cursed, is no one's listening to him.
Yeah.
Oh no, people are listening to him, but the wrong people.
Another interpretation is that he is just right wing, and when the Prime Minister was Conservative, he was happy to do cosy fireside chats. Elon, isn't AI marvelous, and how are you going to save the world? Now we have a left wing one, so he's like, fuck you, Rishi Sunak's my boy. I don't think that's the most likely explanation.
I'm devastated about you forced Rishi to lead the Conservatives to the worst ever result, and I'm taking this out on you personally before he becomes my head of comms.
What do you think he wants? Is it just it interests him, and so he's talking about it? Is he trying to create political opposition to Keir Starmer?
No, I think he'll be being influenced by like Andrew Tate or whoever. He'll be like looking to the real headbanging thought leaders and seeing what they're talking about.
So he genuinely believes what he's saying, and he thinks he is the last sane voice in the room.
I don't know if it's as grandiose as that. I think he believes what he's saying, but is also behaving quite cynically as well, trying to convert people to his way of thinking.
Because I think on some of it he does have a point.
On which point?
I think when you look at the jail sentences that have been dished out for some of the stuff that these people have been posting online, I think it's overreach. I think, look, it's very easy. You can do this. I've done it before, where you go through and like pick out violent offenders who have received prison sentences that are shorter than what some of these people are getting. Like Roger Haslam, the guy who appeared, the co-founder of Extinction Rebellion, who was on a Just Stop Oil call where they planned to climb on the gantries of the M25 and shut the motorway down. They did it. He didn't climb on. He got 5 years in prison. There are rapists. There are people on firearms charges who have done 5 years in prison, sentenced to 5 years in prison. Clearly, that's like an inequitable state of affairs. Similarly, you can go, right, you probably shouldn't have written on Facebook, blow the mosques up. Do I think that it's worth a 15-month prison sentence? No, I don't, to be quite honest with you. Now, the context is important here because it happening in the context of civil unrest is actually very important, and a genuine consideration in sentencing is if you were just at a time of relative civil peace writing on Facebook, blow the mosque up, the police might come and knock on the door and say, you really need to stop saying these things. You might even end up in court. I'd be very surprised if you had an extended custodial sentence as a result of it. But because you're writing that, whilst people are literally attacking mosques, that context is an aggravating factor, if you like, in the sentencing. The fact that you're writing this stuff on social media, so that's what's led them to it. But I'm not comfortable with it, if I'm completely honest with you. I think, being a racist is deplorable. I think you should be socially ostracized. I think you should possibly lose your job. But do I think it's illegal to be racist? I'm not sure. If you're discriminating against someone based on your prejudice for like a job, or whether you serve them in a pub that whatever it is, that's a problem. But if you are just a racist and you verbally express racism, is that a criminal offence?
I suppose that's the point. That's a good point. When people talk about being cancelled, it's when we're talking about.
I think you've got the cancellation button down there.
Oh, that was going to be a surprise for you if you had a bad take.
I would have thought you'd have dropped that on me during the second jobs chat. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, but I don't know. It was going to be a surprise.
Okay.
Anyway.
I would have certainly hit it if I had one to deploy on you.
Yeah, that's why I was over here. It's when we're talking about the guy who wanted to put fox hunters in a protected characteristic, and he was like, people have lost jobs or lost friends because they're hunters.
Yeah.
It's like there's a real difference between, as you say, social ostracization and the state taking an interest in what you are allowed to say and be punished in that regard. Like if you see someone post on Facebook or tweet, bomb mosques, stop being their mate. You do not need to hang out with that person anymore.
Yeah.
But
unless you're going to try and save them.
Yeah.
Because that's an interesting point, by the way.
But
like, if you want to do something constructive, do you want to try and like help someone not be a racist, or do you just go, "You're a lost cause. See you later"?
Yeah, that is interesting, isn't it? I wonder whose burden is that?
Yeah, well, I guess it doesn't have to be yours. Mm-hmm. But are you going to try and be an actor for good in the world, or are you just going to say, "Not my problem"?
Because if you are the good actor in that situation and go out your way to try and brainwash that person, I guess. I think it's quite unlikely that it might work, and it would be a lot of effort for very little gain, and it would be frustrating and hard, and the person probably wouldn't be very receptive to you.
Yeah, look, I think essentially what's happening here is you're seeing that authoritarian side of Keir Starmer, the same that was when he was prosecuting during the 2011 riots, where you saw very lumpy jail sentences imposed very quickly, sometimes on minors, for their participation in that unrest. I think you're seeing that tendency here again now.
It's interesting.
Sorry.
No, it's interesting, isn't it? Labour come into power and say, "Jesus Christ, the prisons are not fit for purpose. Let's lock up all these people."
Yeah.
All these problems that we're seeing in the prisons.
Yep.
In the justice system, where people are leaving with very little prospects, with severe mental health issues. Let's criminalise these people.
Yeah.
And put them into that system.
And I think the difficulty here is, I think there's a faint whiff of moral panic, because crucially, I think there's a difference between Elon Musk, and let's be clear, he's not tweeting "blow all the mosques up." Some of the stuff he has shared has been outright misinformation, and doing so to his nearly 200 million Twitter followers, versus like Jane writing to her 500 Facebook friends, "blow the mosque up." I do think that scale is different. I think that's an important distinction, and I think the most difficult and worrying thing here is that we are now establishing a legal precedent whereby, basically as a result of widespread moral panic about these riots, and I'm not trying to minimize them, like they are racist riots and that's not to be downplayed, but nonetheless we are talking about imposing prison sentences, often of more than a year, on people for things that they've written on Facebook. For me, that's quite shaky territory, particularly in a world in which, if we're talking about, okay, who is fomenting Islamophobia in Britain, who is making racism worse, and what level of punishment and deterrence, because that's essentially what's happening here, right? This is deterrence. This is stop writing racist shit on Facebook. You will end up in prison. What recourse has there been for the legacy media in this country that has, I think, done there are a few characters who have done more than publications like the Daily Mail, like the Telegraph, like the Express, and what they've said about Muslims in Britain, British Muslims. What punishment are they suffering? Equally, our politicians and some of the more ghastly characters in the Conservative Party who have normalised Islamophobia And not only that, but our political parties that have ignored whistleblowers like Baroness Varsi, like the Ford Report for the Labour Party, where time and again they've been found to, with Labour it was a hierarchy of racism, right? They treat certain things more seriously than others. If you don't do anything about those things, like it's very easy to wash your hands of it and go, yeah, it's these fucking poor people in the north who've had these horrible racist tendencies. It's like, well, where did they get them from? Like they don't just exist in a vacuum. Jane's Islamophobia has been normalised by someone. Who is it? And essentially what you're doing is you're locking up the little guy, and I think you've got your finger in your ears about where that Islamophobia is derived from.
The way that social media works, though, I still don't think Jane... God, this Jane's getting a real bastering from us. Jane, at the moment, isn't a big player, but the way that social media works and social media algorithm works, there's every chance that Jane could become quite an influential figure on the right. And if that's nipped in the bud, her audience, she doesn't get the audience that a lot of these like far right influencers do have. I don't think that prevention should be because she's in prison, but I think should be a recognition of the way that these people gain a following. Yeah,
I wonder if a more appropriate punishment is just banning them from social media.
There's no ground for that, though, is there?
I'd say there's more grounds for it than putting them in prison.
So I mean, in terms of like at the moment, we don't have the legal recourse for that.
Well, I imagine there's probably some kind of order you can impose on someone outside.
But then I suppose that almost definitely infringes on someone's freedom of speech or freedom of expression.
Yeah.
To limit digital communication.
Yeah, it would do.
Yeah.
It would do. But this is a question. This is a discussion about the competing rights and responsibilities and limits on other people's freedoms, right? Are we prepared to accept limiting someone's freedom of expression to preserve the rights to safety of British Muslims? Yeah, I'd say so. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can underestimate either, by the way, in this conversation, the significance of Tommy Robinson being allowed back on Twitter.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely massive in this. I think he's planning another big protest soon.
They'll get more frequent, I feel.
Yeah, they are. Mm. Because he can mass organise again. I mean, I think he's past a million followers now. When he got frozen, he was way less than that. He's set multiple billion impressions on his tweets over the last couple of
he's got the momentum now.
Months. Yeah, but it's much the same. It's like that. I think large parts of our political class are in denial about the significance and scale of social media influence. And make no mistake, like his return to Twitter and virality on the platform is 100% one of the ingredients in what's happening right now. Mm. How long have we been going for, chaps?
50 minutes.
Yeah.
Do you want to do another topic? Do you want to do like some cockfighting chat? What do you want to do?
I think I want to go to Wembley.
Oh, do you need to go?
Yeah.
Oh, well, sorry, you've just been listening to me talk. Right, okay. I understand. Well, we'll just draw a line under it there.
Excellent. I'm going to Wembley. Not to see Taylor Swift, to meet the men of Taylor Swift.
I'm looking forward to this video, Ed. It's going to be a banger.
Do you think there should be a long form?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I wasn't sure.
Well, have a great time.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.